see the recording of for this session. So starting with the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious. Today we are going to discuss about CCNA routing and switching. So CCNA routing and switching is a very important career certification, and this certification is introduced by Cisco in 1998, and at different times it has different exam codes, and which CCNA we are going to discuss today, that is CCNA 200-301, and its version is 7. But before starting all these things, I would like to introduce you some basic things. First of all, we are performing this session on the platform of Network Professional, who is a Cisco Authorized Networking Academy, and we are also Pearson Authorized Testing Center. I am your instructor, Ahmed Malik, and I am Cisco certified instructor, and I am also Pearson exam proctor for CCNA, and I am also serving as advisor for Cisco for our sports center, and we are also running a instructor training center. So all these things just to introduce you. So let's start. Our today's session is all about CCNA. And CCNA, you know that a career certification introduced by Cisco, and its current code is 200-301. Today, we are going to discuss 2 or 3 important tasks. First of all, we are going to discuss about your career. About your career, I think that you should you need 3 different courses in your career, and this pack is definitely very good for you. If you follow this pack, definitely you can achieve very good job in the field of networking. You can become prominent in your locality, and it can be favorable for you for your entire coming life and your future. This in this pack, I would like to offer you or suggest you 3 courses. First of all, you need to do CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. But as I have discussed that CCNA was launched by Cisco in 1998. That's why today we not just need CCNA, we definitely required its professional level, which is CCNP. Most of the organizations are offering CCNA and CCNP in different fashion, but remember that our institute believes that we will make a course which is the combo of CCNA and CCNP, and in this course actually we will teach you how you can establish, maintain, and troubleshoot your enterprise level network. In this course, our main concern is Cisco, but we will also discuss some CCNP level topics so that your basic requirements can be completed. And after completing our CCNA course, you will be able to manage or maintain any organization or enterprise level network. You can do job in 2 types of organizations. The first one is your enterprise level organization, and if you want work in any enterprise level organization, in that organization, your main concern will be switching, not routing. But definitely you need some routing as well. But the second option is if you are doing a job in ISP level. For example, in enterprise level, you need, as I am saying, that switching, because they are dealing most like local area network LAN. And in local area network, we have to work on switches. And on the second of the way, you can do any job in ISP level organization. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider, and you know that Internet Service Providers mostly dealing with wide area network WAN. and which device we are using in our wide area network most commonly, that is the router. So when we are in ISP environment, we need routing, and routing is more important for us as compared to switching. Means 90% we need routing and 10 to 20% we need switching in this environment. So, but I think that the basic concern of our today's course is about this. You need network. Network mean hardware network. Hardware network mean you need CCNA, you need CCNP. Both after completing these two courses, your network portion can be completed. Definitely, we will not complete fully CCNP in this course, but many important topics of CCNP we have included in our CCNA. So first of all, you need CCNA. CCNA will teach you how you can make any network, which is also known as a hardware network. For example, if I give you example, there are 100 or 200 or 1000 computer in an organization, and you want to join them, and you want to make communication possible between all those devices. You need some routers, you need some switches, you need cabling, and definitely after that you need some routing and switching protocols. And all these things are completed in your course of networking or CCNA. Let's suppose by using CCNA, you have designed this network. You have some computer which you have connected with some switch. You have more computer, you have attached one more switch, and after that you are going to able to attach some more computers in this network. So in this way, you can enhance your network. This is also known as plain network or flat network. Today we are not using flat network. Today we are using hierarchical based structure network, which is also known as layered model network. In this layered model network, this is your access layer, and upon this you are using these layer 3 switches here and connecting these devices here in this fashion. Mm, Although this hierarchical model is not the part of CCNA, but we will discuss this type of network is in CCNA. This is known as your distribution layer. And after that, you are also using another layer here where you are using normally routers. And this is known as, this layer is connected with ISP or internet. So here you are using core. This is your core layer, and definitely when we will discuss three layer, we have to discuss some access layer protocols. We have to learn some distribution layer protocols, and we also um, have fully awareness about layer 3 protocol in our local area network like HSR, PVRRP, and GLPP. Although all these are not the part of your local area network or your CCNA, but remember that we have to discuss and configure all these topics because we want to make you able to design and configure uh, a plain network or simple network, and we will try to make you able to configure and monitor or troubleshoot a very good organization network, which is known as enterprise level network. So after that, we will also teach you routing in detail. When you will go in routing, we will teach you some protocols like RIP, EIGRP, and OSPF. Any other institute is also teaching all these topics as these are the part of your CCNA. But remember that these protocols are also discussed in CCNA, and they are also the part of your CCNP. But problem is here in CCNA, these topics are not discussed in detail. But I assure you that when we will go for a routing protocol, we will discuss all these protocols on NP level, because I think that in NA level we just know how this protocol can configure. but we cannot understand in CCNA how we can better manage this protocol and how we can make efficient this protocol, how we can uh, control this program, or how we can design it for this protocol for a very large organization. Normally, 2 or 3 routers topology is discussed in CCNA, which is not enough, I think, for any ISP based network. Except of this, there are some other protocols like BGP, like ISIS, and so on. These protocols are not discussed, or if even discussed in network, they are not configured or properly maintained in CCNA. So we will try to teach you all these protocols in CCNA level, so that after completing this CCNA, you no need to take admission in our organization or any other organization in CCNP level. More of this, we will also provide you some labs, and we will also share with you CCNP level Cisco course contents and so on. After that, your CCNA will be very strong in both situations. If you want to give your paper, you will be easily able to pass your CCNA exam in first attempt. And if you go for any organization, you will be easily able to design and maintain any medium to large organizations network. And before that, if you go for any interview, you will be easily able to answer all the interview questions, because most of the things we will discuss here. And still, if you find any problem in CCNP material, which we will provide you free of cost, if you find any problem, you may can take 1 or 2 free sessions from us to understand all these things or topics. So this is your CCNA or network. But after this networking, definitely for your better career, you need a second layer, which is your Microsoft, which is also 2 parts: MCSA, associate level, and its second level is MCSE. So these two are most important for you, because in CCNA we just know how to design our network and how we will be able to make communication between our devices. But to manage this network or control this network, we need a server-like environment. And in server-like environment, we need a proper server room or server area where you are using many different servers. These servers, how you can configure and manage or maintain all these things are the part of your MCSC course. In this site, first of all, you need a server which is known as domain controller. That's why this type of network is known as domain-based network. So domain-based network is very important, because there is not any single organization without domain-based network. Let's suppose this is your domain controller or DC. You have 2 roles on this machine. The first one is your ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services, and after that you need a DNS. These two are the basic requirements. This. After that, you know that when you install these role on this server becomes domain controller, and who manage this server, that is known as your administrator. So we want to make you administrator, and if you want to become administrator, you need 2 things. First of all, you need CCNA, and after that you need MCSE, which is the most important. After that, you know that when you have installed domain controller or DC in your environment, now all your servers have to join this machine if they want to remain in this network. So all these servers will work as a member server. They also have many different roles like DHCP, web proxy, WDS, WSUS, and so on, file server or sharing server and so on. So all these servers give you services in this network, and all your these computer will also have to join this domain-based network. Actually, you can say that the first layer of hardware is CCNA, and after that, if you want to manage or maintain this network, you need MCSE, and without MCSE, you cannot manage our all your user computers, servers, or networking devices from a single point. So, Active Directory or domain-based network is a single point of administration. If you have multiple branches within country or in the world, you can easily manage all those branches by using Microsoft. Today we are not going to discuss Microsoft and its topics, but just I am giving you career path. First of all, you need CCNA, and after that you need MCSE. After completing these two main parts, now your network has been designed and your network has been managed, but you need security here. And after that, you must need security. Okay. Security has two different options. The first one is your network security, and second one is your cyber security. So you must need cyber security and you need network security. In security, we have two main tasks. First of all, layer 3 security by using different types of hardware devices like your ASA, your firewall, IDS, and IPS. And this security type or layer 3 security will restrict any hacker to enter your network. So it is very important part of your network. Along with you also need layer 2 security so that your internal persons cannot make any problem in your network. So you need two types of security for to mitigate internal or local area network problems. You need layer 2 security, or to mitigate the attacks from internet or layer 3, you need layer 3 security. Both of these are known as network security. So the first part of your today's session was what certification you need to require, or what should you do in your career. The second thing is, now we are going to discuss about CCNA. So in CCNA, the first thing is CCNA is an associate level certification from Cisco. Cisco has a old CCNA or certification track. In old CCNA or certification track, you know that there are many different types of CCNA, and you have to take start from your CCNA routing and switching, and after routing and switching, you need to pass your CCNP and CCI. But after that, if you want to go any other field of Cisco, you again have to take start from basic level of CCNA. But Cisco has changed this certification pattern from 24 February 2020. So we should must be aware about the new certification path of Cisco. The new certification path for Cisco is displayed before you. Here you can see that the new course which we will teach you, or we are going to start, or whose classes we are going to start, that is CCNA 200-301. This is the new code for CCNA exam, and the version of CCNA which we are going to start, that is version 7, which is the newer version. In this new CCNA, you have three different modules. The first one is your introduction to network. The second one is your routing, switching, and wireless. And the third one is your security and automation. So in CCNA, we will teach you three different modules in detail. And we will not teach you on CCNA level. We will try to cover some CCNP level topics as well. After CCNA, the second level is your professional or specialist level or professional level. Now you can become a specialist or you can become CCNP mean professional. How you can do this? After passing your CCNA, now there is not any restriction because for any field you can go any field of CCNP. Like you can directly take start from security from CCNP level for Cisco service provider collaboration or data center or enterprise. If you don't want to give CCNA exam, it's up to you. You can direct go for CCNP exam. But how you can become specialist? Remember that in these all five tracks of CCNP, there are two types of exam. The first one is your core exam. Here you can see that the code of 300-401 is the code for enterprise core exam. 300-701 is the code for CCNP security core exam. And after this core exam, there are also some optional exams or 5 to 6 exam for each path of CCNP, which are known as its specialist exams. If you just pass one of those 5 or 6 specialist exams, you become a specialist. But if you want to go for professional level, you have to pass minimum 2 exams. The first one is your CCNP core level exam, and the second one is your CCNP specialist exam. You need just pass 2 exams. But if you want to go specialization in other courses as well, you may can do this and you can pass all the specialist exams after this core exam. The next benefit for you is that you have a CCNP core exam and one specialist exam. Now you have become CCNP, Cisco Certified Network Professional. But after that, if you want to become a CCIE, remember that there are two types of exams in CCIE. The first one is your written exam, whose cost is $400, and the second one is your CCIE lab, whose cost is $1,600. But if you pass your CCNP core exam, after that, if you want to go for CCIE, you have no need to pass your or again give your CCIE written exam. In this way, you can save your $400 and now you can directly go for CCIE lab, and after passing your CCIE lab, you can become CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Network Expert. So these are some discussion which I want to discuss with you about certification. The new track for CCNA is first one is your CCNA. After that, specialist. After that, the next level is CCNP, and the final level for you is CCIE. And here is not any single restriction for any level. You can take start from any level and you go in any certification after passing one exam. There is not any single prerequisite for this certification track. Now, today we are going to discuss about this CCNA course outline. As you know that Cisco Certified Network Associate certification we are going to discuss. It is a Cisco certification introduced by Cisco. To pass this certification, here you can see that there is no prerequisite for this. With your any degree you can attempt this exam, and if you don't have any certification or degree, even you can start this course. But remember that when you are going to work as a network engineer or any good level job, you must need some other additional skills. You must have a relevant networking degree, and you must have some other skills like masters of its network field, good communication skills, and so on. All these are your prerequisites for any good level job. For normal level job, you can excuse all these things, but if you want to definitely go for administrator level, you must need all these additional skills as well. The next important thing is nowadays uh, most of the companies are not depending on single vendors. Single vendors means single company devices they are using. But now most of the companies are working as a multi-vendor environment. For example, they are using some routers of Cisco, they are using some switches of Huawei, they are using the firewall of Juniper and so on. Mostly people like to use nowadays Palo Alto, who is not a Cisco brand. In the same way, means different organizations are using different companies devices in its local area network or in its wide area network or in its network. Means they are working in multi-vendor environment. And definitely you should be also be multi-vendor environment. But remember that after passing your CCNA, you must have a very good knowledge about other companies' devices, because which standards will be discussed in Cisco or CCNA course. 70% are international standards and 30% of them are normal Cisco standards. Means your 70 to 80% is international level course or open standard course, in which protocols or which standards are discussed. They are also applicable on Huawei or Juniper or any other organization. But 25 to 30% things which will be discussed in this CCNA course, that are exactly for CCNA or sorry, Cisco, and those techniques only run on Cisco devices. So after completing your CCNA course, you will be also having a very good knowledge of other company devices. Just there will be a single point of difference, that will be their commands. Their command syntax is definitely different from Cisco, but if you see, most of the commands are same like Cisco, and their behavior is also like Cisco. So no need to study other companies course. Just after completing your CCNA, if you have done CCNA very good, after that you can easily pass any other company certification, or you will be able to work on other companies devices as well.
Hello?
Yeah, the next thing is course outline. Here you can
Nearly don't go there.
Here you can see that this is your course outline. What we will teach you in Cisco or our CCNA course. The first one is your introduction to CCNA and exam criteria. Second is you will
Just say,
discuss
hey, come,
uh,
Hola.
network fundamentals or networking fundamentals for Cisco and all others. In the same way, the physical and logical addresses means IP addresses and MAC addresses, like your binary, your decimal and hexadecimal and so on. We will discuss about all these things. Next thing is your OSI reference model, and we will also like to use your TCP IP model. Normally, most of the people just give you comparison of TCP and OSI reference model, but we will teach you all these things in detail. The next thing is your Cisco router and switches basic configuration. We will teach you how you can, just one moment. Yes, we will teach you many different models of Cisco routers and switches, on which you can do your configuration and so on. The next thing is your router security and password recovery. We will teach you how you can apply security on your routers and switches, and if you forget your password, you can recover your password and many other things. Frog, just manage these people who are uh, unmuted. Please mute them. Yes, the next thing is in this is the top part of your discourse, that is static to default routing. Routing is most important part of your discourse, as they are discussing about this course name, routing and switching. So routing is most important part of the of your course. As I have told you previously, if you are going to do a job in ISP level, you need uh, to maintain a large number of routers by using many different routing protocols, and you must have a professional level knowledge of these protocols, uh, on associate level knowledge of routing or routing protocols. You cannot manage all these routers or this type of network. That's why we will try to give you in detailed or professional level knowledge of routers and routings. We will discuss with you routing information protocol version 1 and version 2, RIP version 1 and version 2 for small organization. And if any company is using Cisco devices, we will in detail discuss with you EIGRP with load balancing, stub options, and so on. And nextly, we will discuss you in detail OSPF, because you know that OSPF is an open standard protocol, and in most of the large organization, OSPF is a de facto standard. Most of the organizations are using OSPF, and when you will go for any interview or job, you must have to face many questions about OSPF. So in this OSPF session, if we discuss about OSPF in CCNA, it is just a 1 hour topic. But we will give you detailed lectures on OSPF, and we will teach you OSPF minimum in 1 week, so that you can understand in detail this protocol, and you can work on this protocol on any advanced level. After that, we will would also like to discuss a protocol with you which is not a part of this course, which is ISIS. ISIS is used in very large ISPs. In Europe and in USA, most of the countries, most of the ISPs are using ISIS protocol. But the problem is here, IS protocol is not the part of your CCNA, CCNP or CCIE. But we think that it is most important for you. That's why we have added this protocol in your CCNA course. The next thing is your BGP, Border Gateway Routing Protocol. As you know that, and if you don't know, please note that there are two types of protocol. The first one is your IGP protocol, and the second one is your EGP protocol. IGP protocol means that, for example, this is your organization, and if you want to use any protocol inside your organization, this is known as IGP protocol, Interior Gateway Protocol. There are uh, RIP, EIGRP, OSPF, and ISIS. All these are IGP protocol. But if there is another organization which is using, for example, they are using RIP, these are using OSPF. This is a separate organization, OSPF. And here is a third organization who is using EIGRP. Now remember that two different protocols, even the two different versions of protocols do not communicate with each other. So that's why these three organizations cannot communicate with each other. But today know that most of the companies are converged with each other. The reason is very simple. They are using an EIGRP protocol. They need, if they all want to communicate with each other, they need a protocol which is known as EGP protocol, exterior gateway protocol. There is only one exterior gateway protocol, which is your BGP. So BGP is just described in your CCNA course, not discussed about configuration or managing or troubleshooting. But in our course, we have added this BGP in detail. When you will study with us, we will teach you BGP in detail, so that if there are many different organizations, they are running many different protocols, and if you want to make them converge with each other, you can easily make this process. Although there is a second option as well, which we can also use for small level, which is redistribution. Okay, there are two options. Also, there is a redistribution, which will be also discussed in our course. But redistribution is used on a not on a large scale. On a large scale, you have to use BGP. And if today our this internet is working and our organization are working with each other, the reason behind them is simply BGP. BGP is a very good protocol, very large protocol, has a capacity to hold the or run the all the world's computers, but it is not an easy protocol. It is a very complex protocol. It is very hard to understand protocol, but we will try to give you detailed lectures on BGP so that you can easily understand this protocol as well. In the same way, next thing is your IPv6. Remember that most of the people are discussing about IPv6 in CCNA, but they are not teaching you IPv6 protocols and they are not giving you any practical lab on IPv6. When you are using IPv6, uh, you cannot use RIP version 1 or 2. You need a newer version of RIP, which is known as RIP NG for IPv6. If you are using EIGRP, you can here you can use EIGRP for IPv6, and in the same way, uh, this OSPF version 2 does not support IPv6. If you are going to use IPv6 in your organization, you must need OSPF version 3. So we will give you detailed labs on IPv6 and we will teach you how you can configure all these protocols in your network. After that, very important concept of today is classful and classless subnetting. We will teach you in detail how you can configure classful or classless subnetting as per requirement for your organization. Redistribution is also a very good topic. By using redistribution in your local area network, normally we can converge our network if we are using different protocols in our local area network. After that, the most important topic of CCNA is named and numbered ACL. You have listened just numbered ACLs, but the importance of numbered ACL is just for CCNA exam. But in organization, we don't like to use numbered ACL because the simple difference between numbered and named ACL is numbered ACLs are non-editable while the named ACLs are editable. That's why they are used in any organization. So we will discuss all detail and we will discuss in detail with ACL how if you are not using a firewall in your network, how by using ACL you can manage different protocols and different applications. For example, if you want to stop Facebook in your network or you want to control your any other mm, WhatsApp and so on, by using these ACL, you can do this. All these things are not the part of your CCNA and no one is ready to discuss all these things in CCNA, but we will try to give you this detailed information and configuration about ACL. If you don't have any firewall, by using ACL, you can securely manage your network. The after this very important topic of network is your network address translation NAT. NAT is very important and there is not a single organization without NAT because there are two types of addresses in networking. The first one is your public IP address, the second one is your private IP address. Private IP address are free and we have no need to take permission from any organization. That's why we like to use private IP addresses in our local area network. But the problem with our local area network or private IP addresses is they cannot access internet. That's why we need to translate our private IP addresses into public IP addresses. So we need NAT. There are three types of NATs: static NAT, dynamic NAT, and NAT overload, which is also known as port address translation path. So we will discuss all these three types of NAT in our this CCNA course. Today's most important technology is your frame relay switching. Frame relay is a switching by using which in any organization you can achieve dedicated type internet or high speed internet without paying extra to your ISP. If you don't have any budget for dedicated lease line, and definitely companies cannot rely on a shared lane, then you can use a frame relay technology. By using this technology, you can get the benefits of a dedicated line on a simple shared internet. Means you can get a standardized or a high-speed internet by using simple frame relay switchings. Telnet and SSH are also very important topics for remote access. And without remote access, you cannot manage your network, because if you have many different branches in the world, definitely you would like to manage all these devices or branches from your sitting on your seat from a single point. By using Telnet or SSH, you can do this. But we don't like to use Telnet nowadays because it is unsecure. That's why we would like to use SSH. And in the same way, there are many different other protocols like CDP, NTP, TFTP, PoE, and DHCP. We will discuss all these topics in your CCNA course, because when you will go for exam, you will see many different questions about CDP, NTP, TFTP, PoE, and DHCP. The next one portion is about your switching. In switching, there are also some many important protocols. The first one is your VLAN trunking protocol (VTP). The second one is your dynamic trunking protocol (DTP). And the next thing is your standard and extended VLANs. Remember that first of all, these three topics are most important from any organization, because without these things, no one organization can work. But after that, you need a concept of inter-VLAN routing. We can do inter-VLAN routing by using two different patterns. The first one is your router on stick, and the second one is your SVIs, switched virtual interfaces. But if you want to use SVI, you need layer 3 switching. So the layer 3 switching is also the part of our CCNA. After that, you need to use spanning tree. Spanning tree is a very vast topic. Most of the questions in your exam you will see about spanning tree. Cisco gives many importance to STP. There are different flavors of STP. The first one is your CSTP common spanning tree. The second one is your PVSTP pervasive spanning tree. The third one is RSTP rapid spanning tree, and the last one is your MSTP. We will discuss all these different levels of spanning tree in CCNA, although they are not the part of CCNA. The next thing is your ether channel. Very important topic, also known as aggregating links. This is not the part of your CCNA, it's the part of your CCNP level. But we will teach you layer 2 and layer 3 ether channel in your CCNA. In the same way, first hop redundancy protocol is very important. For example, if your organization is using internet from two or three different ISPs, and they want to make them load balancing between them, and they want that if one internet goes down, our network automatically shift on other ISP or internet connection. And when our first connection problem is resolved, our network should be automatically convert on our first basic internet connection, which is our primary connection. For that, you need a family of protocol which is known as first hop redundancy protocol. With this family, there are three different protocols: HSRP, VRRP, and GLBP. HSRP is the part of CCNA, but in most of the organization there is used VRRP because HSRP is Cisco standard while VRRP is open standard. That's why most of the organizations are using VRRP. We will also discuss HSRP, VRRP, and GLBP, both all these three protocol in this course. The next level is your switching or switch port security, also known as layer 3 security. But layer 3 security is very easily able to compromise nowadays. That's why we will discuss about 802.1x authentication. And for 802.1x authentication, you must need to configure AAA server in your network. So we will also discuss AAA server, and in AAA server there are two protocols, Radius and TechX. We will teach you how you can use Radius and TechX for 802.1x authentication. And last of all, most of the people in CCNA skip this portion. It is very, very important part of your network. If you want to manage your network from single point, you need some layer 3 level monitoring tools. The first one is your SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. This protocol is very important because if you find any problem in any networking device in your network, you are not able to monitor all the devices at the same time. That's why you who need a protocol which is known as SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. If any device in your network goes down or facing any problem, you will see that problem at a main point, and in this way you will be easily able to manage all the devices. In the same way, very important concept is IPSLA. Actually, IPSLA is a service level agreement between your enterprise organization and ISP. So you must be aware of this. And last of all, this your syslog server. Remember that syslog server is very important because if there is any problem on your router are not able to speak. They just generate a message which is known as log messages. These log messages are displayed on that router, but it's not possible for us to monitor all the routers at the same time. That's why we like to use a server in our network which is known as syslog server. By configuring this server, now you can see the problems of all the devices or log. You can study the logs of all the devices at any centralized point. And now by using any simple analyzer level person, you can manage all these things from your main point. And after that, in this course, as Cisco has added some things about automation. Although about automation, there are not in automation there are not just one moment here. Yes, the last thing is your automation. Automation was not the part of our course in previous CCNA, but in this new CCNA 200-301, Cisco has added automation. Automation means that Cisco wants that your networker must have some knowledge of programming and your programmer must have some knowledge about networking. So single persons can handle networking and programming issues. And most of the organization wants that their candidates or their workers should be CCNA and Microsoft certified. If there is a CCNA level problem, they can manage, and if there is a Microsoft level problem, they can manage. They don't have to who deploy different level of uh, specialists or engineers for different levels of problem. In the same way, automation give you a detailed description about some programming issues and many more things. We will also discuss automation in this course in detail. But here, this was a comprehensive knowledge which I want to share with you. And now I am going to pause your recording.